Today your budget magic goal is pretty simple. We're trying to say its name thrice and make Altanak appear. So here is our Say Its Name deck for Standard. As you can see, not super budget friendly in paper at $174, a bit over our typical $100 budget, but that's because this one is mostly focused on Magic Arena. Last week we had a really cheap paper deck, so this is more of a arena focused budget Magic, where it's only 12 total rares and mythics to put together, and 4 of those are Fabled Passage, which pretty much everyone should have at this point because it's been reprinted a bunch of times. So let's talk about our Say Its Name deck, what it's trying to do, jump into some games, and say its name a few times. So we are built around Say Its Name. Actually, we're built around Say Its Name and its best friend, Altanak. So Say Its Name, 2-mana sorcery. We mill 3 cards and we return a creature land card from our graveyard to our hand. More importantly, we can exile it and 2 other cards named Say Its Name. So we gotta say its name 3 times, like Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. And then we summon Altanak from anywhere, from our graveyard, from our hand, from a library, doesn't matter. Altanak is a 7-mana 9/9 trampling insect bard that if our opponent targets it, we draw a card, and we can pay 2 and discard it to reanimate a land card from our graveyard tapped. So that's goal 1 of our deck. With our dream draw, in theory, and this is very unlikely, but in theory, we could have a turn 2 Altanak on the battlefield where we cast to Say Its Name, mill 2 other copies, and then exile and get Altanak. Turn 3, probably more likely, so that's goal number 1. Get a huge Altanak on the battlefield as fast as possible with Say Its Name. Since we're playing Say Its Name, we're kind of doing other graveyard shenanigans too. We got Cash Grab, we got Gnawing Vermin to fill our graveyard, and that's because our backup plan is reanimation. If we can't find 3 Say Its Names, which might be a big ask because who knows, they could be at the very bottom of our library and they're just really difficult to find, our backup plan is we can always get Altanak in the graveyard just by discarding it to reanimate a land. We also have Vel'Gavoth that we can mill over, the huge 9/9 warded life-linking demon, and then one Lumra, so we can get these cards in our graveyard and then reanimate them with Vel'Gavoth's Faithful or the Cruelty of Gix. So Cruelty of Gix, I'm sure you know this one, it's been around forever. Vel'Gavoth's Faithful, actually very interesting. 1-mana 1/1, you can pay 4 and sack it to reanimate a creature from your graveyard. So it's essentially a reanimation spell, but it has the upside of being on a creature, which means we can Vel'Gavoth's Faithful reanimate something, and then we can use Say Its Name to get back Vel'Gavoth's Faithful to our hand, play it again, reanimate something else. So it's kind of a recurable reanimation spell that lets us grind out a lot of value as the game goes along. So that's kind of plan B. The other plan of our deck is just use Altanak is ramp, essentially, where we can crack a Fabled Passage or an Evolving Wilds, get him in the graveyard, then we discard Altanak to get it in the graveyard, get back to land, and just ramp into our big stuff. Otherwise, Deep Cavern Bat, because it's really busted, cut down Terrace Under Bitter Triumph for removal. Bitter Triumph also lets us discard our big things if we need to get them in the graveyard to reanimate. In the sideboard, a bunch of removal for aggro, some artifact destruction, some enchantment destruction, duress for control, Soul Guide Lantern for graveyards, and that is our Say Its Name deck for Duskmourn Standard, and that's our budget magic for this week. So let's jump into some games and see just how realistic it is to say Altanak's name 3 times, summon it early in the game to get the win. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Budget magic time. We are trying to make our opponents say its name. We're playing some Altanak reanimation Say Its Name combo. Also, Vel'Gavoth was here for some reason. This hand seems fine. We gotta say its name. The dream is we just say its name, mill a Say Its Name, play a Say Its Name, get a turn 3. Ooh, wait, could this be the dream? That's another Say Its Name. That is another Say Its Name. Opponent with the tap land. Ooh, I think we have to pass because of bat. If we just run out a Say Its Name, then they can bat and take the other one. Well, okay, this worked out anyway. There's a Glissa. We can kill the Glissa, discard the Vel'Gavoth. Also, Altanak's super cute because on top of being a good thing to cheat into play, with Say Its Name or with reanimation, it's also a sneaky ramp spell, assuming we can get some lands in the graveyard. Well, say its name. Say its name, opponent. Say its name. I guess we'll take Evolving Wilds and play the Evolving Wilds and pass the turn. All right, so we need one more Say Its Name in the graveyard and the one from our hand, and we're off to the races. Well, crack the Evolving Wilds. Evolving Wilds. Grab a Schwamp and Vel'Gavoth. I will say, drawing Vel'Gavoth is kind of painful. Let's Say its name. Say its name. Ooh, Valgavas Faithful is kind of interesting here. Or do we have to take a land? Huh. Yeah, I think we take the land. We're still kind of far away from hard casting the Valgavath. Oh, there's the bat we were so afraid of. Sure. Do we want to pitch the Altanak in response? Probably. There's no way they're taking Altanak, right? No way. I imagine they take the tear. Yeah, take the tear asunder. Yeah, maybe we should have just taken the reanimation. Maybe that would have been, yeah, that might have been better. Golgari's tough because they have Liliana's. So just putting a Valgavath into play is not necessarily going to win us the game. Huh. I mean, Cruelty of Gix is an interesting draw. The question is, what do we do with it? So we can just slam a Valgavath. Potential of Liliana is still there. I guess we could reanimate the Valgavath, play the Gnawing Vermin as a Liliana buffer. That might be the best plan. Yeah, let's Gnawing Vermin first. This does let us play around a Liliana at least, which is what we were trying to do. Gnawing Vermin's also cute if we get a Valgavath on the battlefield, because then we can target our opponent to mill cards and steal them. Well, that's Cruelty of Grix. Man, I would like to go full on, like, Thought Seize You, take a Planeswalker into Tutor, into Reanimation. It is risky, though. It is, like, if it works out, we're gonna win the game, probably. We gotta, wow! Okay, apparently it's working out. Bonus gives it up, We didn't even have to do the thing. Opponent. Say its name. Say its name, opponent. Actually, I don't even know if we changed much of anything in this matchup. We might do some very light removal customization, like another Tear Asunder for Innkeeper's Talent. Plus, it can get a Shieldred or whatever once we have the mana. Yeah, maybe we just trim the cut down and run it like that. All right, on to game number 2. We are not keeping this one lander. 2 Valgavaths in hand. No. This is fine. Not a, like, super exciting hand, but it's functional. It's functional. It does not make our opponent say its name, unfortunately. We have failed. We have failed at our one. Bat. Bat could be such a brutal card. I don't think Bat's like a card that shouldn't exist or anything. I think it's a fine card to exist, but boy, it's one of those cards where, like, you keep a hand with a plan and then the Bat just ruins it. Oh my god, that's a lot of Planeswalkers. Jeez. All right, well, hopefully our opponent just never draws a land. Say its name, opponent. Say its, hey, no land. No land. Oh, now we can do the cool Altanak ramp shenanigans. Do we want to attack? Is it worth trading bats? I mean, our opponent would get back a 3-drop that they can't cast. We'd get back a removal spell that could kill the 3-drop. Let's just pass the turn. Oh, okay, land but tapped. Opponent gets it. That is a very expensive fan of Magic cards. Well, crack the Fabled Passage. Grab a, doesn't really matter, but I guess a Schwamp. And then, boom, Altanak. Say its name. Get back to Fabled Passage. Unfortunately, not on the battlefield yet, but we're getting there. And then we can even ramp again if we want to. Well, let's get in with the bat. Hit ya. Play the Forest and go. Altanak's very interesting for budget, just because the whole package is lower rarity. I know the Valgavaths are like a little expensive on in paper currently. We'll see if they remain expensive. Sentinels of the Nameless City. Opponent finally land number 4 and a 3-drop and a map and a little crack into the mapping. Gonna do a little cartography. I think we are just going to get rid of the bat to get back the Bitter Triumph, which then in the future, all right, not a land, it's a go for the throat that they might want to kill our bat, but it's not a land. They also want land. Okay, opponent's gonna keep the removal spell. Interesting. We can Gnawing Vermin it. Hilariously, we can just make a mill it if we want to. Well, crack the Fabled Passions, grab a Forest. Evolving Wilds, we'll get him for 1. Hit ya. Down to 19. Play the Evolving Wilds. Crack the Evolving Wilds. So the question's gonna be, do we hold on to Altanak? We're definitely gonna Gnawing Vermin, make you mill. As tempting as it is to mill ourselves, I think we gotta just get rid of the go for the throat that's gonna kill the bat. We might mill our opponent into a land, which is not great. They're gonna find it eventually with these maps. We can kill, I think we do kill the Sentinel. And we're just in hope they don't find the lands, because once they find the lands, They're going to be able to Vraska Nissa. Altanak. Yes. But I mean, you don't play Altanak and then not cast Altanak when you get to 7 mana. It is a 9/9 trampler if you target it. We get to draw a card and it can ramp us. Say its name. Oh. All right, opponent says Terror Thunder. Oh, but that is a Vel'Gavoth's Faithful, and we got another Altanak in the graveyard. Keep his talent. Okay, that means... Oh, we're dead in 2 turns. Let's get and hit you. Well, 2 turns if they draw a land. If they don't draw a land, well, Altanak, number 2, coming back. Say its name. Say its name, Zane Zello. Opponent, did you find the land? Because they can fully level up. It's going to come down to, do they top deck land number 5? Cash grab. Mill. Get a Cruelty of Gix. Play the Cruelty of Gix. I think we just go discard to get rid of the Vraska. Oh, wow. Double Vraska. Okay, this is a game. If they draw land, they win. If they don't draw land, we win. Altanak. Come on, opponent. Say its name and don't draw land. Well, apparently we got to say Vraska's name. That is the combo kill. Man, we were so close. If we could have gotten that Altanak 1 turn earlier. Our opponent had one of those hands where once they drew the lands to cast their spells, we knew we were in trouble because they had a lot of power in their hand. The thing that was keeping us in it is they didn't have the mana to cast their big things. I guess Haywire Might is probably worth it as a way to deal with Innkeeper's talent, which is annoying. It is an annoying one. It's a hard deck to cut from because most of our pieces are like synergy pieces. I guess we could go down to Altanak. The thing about Altanak, it is okay to go down to 3. Its ramping ability is really nice. All right, on to game number 3. Can we take down Golgari? One of, if not the best deck in Standard. Ooh, it's a lot of Vel'Gavoths. Okay. We can get behind this. A little removal, a little cash grab. Cruelty of Gix, because why not? Opponent leads on the fast land. Well, Schwamp and go. Cash grab isn't instant, so we can cast on our opponent's turn if we desire, which I think we do. Well, let's do some cash grabbing. I mean, we don't need we want the Vel'Gavoth in the graveyard. I think we just take the bat. It's a bat or a rat. Well, play the Schwamp. I think we just pass. Leave with the removal spell this turn. Opponent. Well, we get to kill the bat in response. This worked out absolutely perfectly. So we get to kill their bat. And now next turn we can bat and say its name. Say its name should find a land, and then Cruelty of Gix for Vel'Gavoth. Deep Cavern Bat. Let's get a little peek. Make sure there's no Liliana's hiding down over there or whatever. Do you have a cut down? Well, they might have a cut down. All right, opponent's gonna cut down the bat. Well, what else do they have? How do they always have this hand? Our opponent's really good at having a handful of like no lands and a million planeswalkers. Same as last game. Well, say its name. Ooh, we will take, I think, Vel'Gavoth's Faithful. We have the mana. So this means we can reanimate twice now, which could be relevant. I mean, the Vel'Gavoth, sure, they can theoretically kill it, but it is gonna hurt. I mean, so they can kill, wow, another Cruelty of Gix. We have all the reanimation. This actually, I think this actually works. So what our opponent can do, we'll see if they see this line, but they can attack with the Sentinel. Let's just start on a Vel'Gavoth's Faithful to give Vel'Gavoth for the flavor win. Vel'Gavoth's Faithful is actually really good reanimation in this deck since we can say its name it back to our hand, which we can't do with any other reanimation. Well, I guess we can do with Cruelty too, but the spell-based reanimation. So here's our opponent's line. Let's see if they see it. They can make the map and then sack the maps and the Sentinels to kill the Vel'Gavoth with the go for the throw. The bad news for our opponent is, should they do this, which I think they just have to do, then we just Cruelty of Gix them. Yeah, I mean, sure, that does work, opponent. Sacks it all, and the Vel'Gavoth dies. But, bad news, opponent. Cruelty of Gix. And we're not going to mess around with any of this read-ahead stuff. We will just take a Vel'Gavoth. No Altanak needed this game. Yeah, we'll play the land past the turn. All right, opponent. Can you beat a Vel'Gavoth twice? That is a real question. The answer appears to be no. It's a lot of lands. We do have removal. We can try this, I think. This is a high upside hand. Like if we draw an Altanak or a Velgavoth, we can Bitter Triumph to discard it and then Cruelty it back into play, which probably would be enough to win a game. Like that is pretty good. Well, let's Evolving Wilds. Pass the turn. Opponent. Rakdos. Snag us a Swamp. All right, more lands. Okay, we can chill with the lands deck. We have enough. It's always the problem with keeping the 5-lander. Ugh, Lizards and a Gev. I mean, I think we have to Bitter Triumph it, but this hurts. Killing the 2-drop is going to cost us 5 life. Oh, another Cruelty of Gix. All right, sure. Yeah, this hand's looking a little worse. Opponent, Deep Cavern, Bat. Hooray for the bat. Gonna take a Cruelty of Gix. No other options. All right, Cruelty down. Well, let's crack Evolving Wilds. We really need some action. Gnawing Vermin. I mean, that's cute. We can mill ourselves a couple times. Wow, okay. Actually, no, that was the greatest little rat of all time. They needed... Do we just put Velgavoth into play? Gecko, sure. Yeah, that's fine. Laughing Jasper Flint, that's also okay. Well, ooh, and Altanak. Well, step 1, the Cruelty of Gix. No messing around here. We are starting at chapter 3. No, we will not take Gev. How about a Velgavoth? All right, opponent. Can you beat it? They do have Laughing Jasper Flint going to, wow, steal a Velgavoth and an Altanak. They are not going to be able to cast either of those. Deep Cavern Bat. So I imagine what oh, there goes our Altanak. This is kind of interesting. So I imagine what our opponent's going to try to do is they're going to try to get some useless permanents on the board so they can try to kill Velgavoth eventually. I don't know what removal they have for it. They got to have some, I would think. It's still going to hurt. Like, that's the thing about Velgavoth. Unless you have nowhere to run or some way to get around its ward, if you get a sack 3 non-lands, it's really tough for a deck like this. And we're going to start gaining a huge amount of life. Bitter Triumph actually not the worst. I am a little worried, So if we try to like Bitter Triumph something, they can then go for Velgavoth in response and sack the thing that we're gonna kill as part of the ward. I think we just pass. I mean, we got a Velgavoth, right? Like, let's make our opponent deal with the Velgavoth. Oh, Bat. That might force us to cast the Bitter Triumph. What do we want to steal? I think we just kill the Laughing Jasper Flint. So they could go for the throat. They'd have to take a Bat at least. All right, opponent lets it go. So maybe they don't have a removal spell at all. So we get the Laughing Jasper Flint. Velgavoth's Faithful. Sure, we actually kind of wanted that. And another Lizard. Down to 18. Well, now we get to start doing the sweet Velgavoth things, though. We will be the one with the Laughing Jasper Flint. Opponent gonna block with our Bat, I believe. Yeah, so we don't get that back because it's ours. Well, let's ship it back. I mean, if there's no way they can chump block their way through this, right? Opponent gets back the Gev. Sure. Draws with Fireglass Mentor. Well, they found a cut down, which can kill our... Oh, they take the Hired Claw. All right, sure. Hired Claw. Pings us. I mean, I don't think they can win the race with us gaining 9 a turn. Laughing Jasper Flint. Whiffs. Ooh, cut down. This might be the card that does it. Because remember, anything that dies, we get to steal and play for free. Velgavoth is absurd on the battlefield. It is absurd on the battlefield. Cut down. Kill the Bat with the Cruelty of Gix. Get the Bat and the Cruelty of Gix. Well, let's play the Bat for 2 life. Take a little peek. Was there Wow, just thought seizes. All right, no removal. Well, all right, let's go full Cruelty of Gix mode this time. Let's start at the beginning. Get rid of the Thoughtseize Lizard, which we will take to our side. Play the land. Man, Velgavoth is kind of good. It's kind of good. Takes the beats down to 4. We go up to 28. Run out the Thoughtstalker Warlock. Done it down to 4 and just a land. And scoops it up, and that was a pretty dominating performance against an aggro deck. I mean, it turns out that Velgavoth, if it stays on the battlefield, is actually very strong. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed that a 9/9 flying lifelinker would be very hard for decks to beat if they can't kill it? Sideboard wise, choking Miasma seems pretty sweet. Otherwise, I guess we just do a little trimming to find the room. Everything has a purpose. There's not a lot of like true flex slots, unless you want to start like trimming out removal or reanimation, finishers. Yeah, maybe we gotta want to Altanak. We still gotta cut one more card. It seems silly to cut the cut down too. Maybe it's bats. Try it like that. All right, on to game number 2. Can we actually beat the lizards? What is miasma in the real world? I'm pretty sure that's a real word. Choking, I think I know what that means. Iridescent Vine Lash. Say its name. Say its name, opponent. I want to get the quick say its name with the and. Give. All right, well, grab a forest. Yeah, opponent's off to a nice fast start here. A scarily fast start. The question is, do we have to kill the gill? That's awkward. Basic forest. Yeah, well, play the swamp. So I think we gotta wait. We might have to kill the Gev. If they play something that's gonna grow big enough that we can't choking Miasma, then we might have to just kill it. Found it pings us. We also run the risk of getting the Thoughtseize wizard lizard getting us. Let's kill the Gev. Discard the Velgavoth. Yeah, we'll pay the 2 life. Down to 15, down to 14. Well, let's see what the follow-up is. So we currently can't, oh, another Vine Lash. Cash grab. We currently can't Miasma because we don't have double black. Yeah, let's just play the Fabled Passage, pass the turn. We can cash grab if we need to cash grab. Opponent gonna ping us. Down to 12. I mean, as long as we have the hard sweep, bat. Maybe we can find something better than the sweeper that our opponent wants to take. Okay, I mean, Cruelty of Gigs. I don't know if that it's better than the sweeper, but it might make our opponent think about it. Man, Deep Cavern Bat, our arch enemy. We really wanted to just do a little miasming. Just a little miasming. We might be dead. Aye. Double bat. The double bat slow roll. Yeah, that's pretty good. Not for us. Pretty good for our opponent. Not quite as good for us. Yeah, I mean, we'll take a swamp. All right, bats takes a Cruelty of Gigs. Well, let's grab a Schwamp. Say its name. Spin it to win it. Well, there's a Velgavoth's Faithful, and there is a Velgavoth. I mean, maybe we can just live and reanimate Velgavoth and still be okay? Opponent hits us. Down to 6. Gecko. Mana. Passes. Wow, another... Oh, wow. You know what might be better than a Velgavoth? It might be Miasma. Miasma might actually just be better than Velgavoth. Yeah, let's... Yeah, okay. That's pretty good. Then we play a forest. And then I guess we just ramp with Altanak. Opponent, Higher Claw. Well, let's do a little pseudo channeling here. Grab a Fabled Passage. I mean, I imagine this is probably game. We even have another sweeper left over in hand in case it's not. Let's crack the Fabled Passage. These are the weird situations where even though we're a say its name Altanak deck, when it comes down to it, we gotta take Velgavoth with a Rihanna. When we have to choose between the two, they synergize together, right? With Altanak ramping into it, and you need more than one reanimation spell, but when it comes down to it, I don't think we can just reanimate Altanak instead of Velgavoth in a situation like this. We need the lifelink, and the unkillability is helpful. Wow! Say its name. Okay. Opponent hits us. Wow, are we gonna lose this? Down to 3. I mean, we get to run it back. Opponent's made a game out of this. Read ahead. Cruelty of Gigs. No, not your graveyard. We'll take the Velgavoth. Play the Gnawing Vermin. All right, opponent needs to kill us right now. Do a little milling. All right, opponent, can you make us die? We could mill our opponent to steal their cards. We don't really have enough life to cast anything. Maybe we should have done it anyway just for the future, but I feel like the game ends this turn. But keep that in mind. You can Gnawing Vermin your opponent to And opponent scoops it up. Wow. We are trying to say its name. Thrice. Altanak. And get a 9/9 trampler. Maybe on like turn 3 if we get lucky. Let's Evolving Wild. Go. About it. It's this white aggro. Novice Inspector. Yeah, white aggro could be a concern. That could be a problem. I'll grab a swamp. And play the forest. And, well, we can do a little rampant. Opponent. Oh, yeah. Or another Inner Sky. I feel like in this matchup, we need a really fast Valgavoth or Altanak. That is, I mean, especially Valgavoth because of the lifelink, but we need to do the thing very quickly or we're going to get run over. What do you got, opponent? Jotun Frontliner. Well, Altanak, say its name, get back that Evolving Wilds. So this does, like, one of the cool Ooh, Valgavoth, I wish you were in the graveyard. One of the cool synergies of this, like, I love, like, Altanak, I think, might actually be a pretty good card. Like, it's a super sneaky, simple synergy, but just, like, being able to Altanak to reanimate, War Leader's Call, to reanimate a fetch land, and then use the fetch land to ramp into, like, Cruelty of Gix or reanimation to get back to Altanak. It's, like, so many self-supporting synergies. I am a little worried that we might just be dead here. Altanak does not have lifelink, and they're going to be able to send this Warren to the Inner Sky to this guy. So we might actually still be dead. Opponent hits us down to 12. I don't think we have any choice but to reanimate here to try to stay alive. If it was a Valgavoth, maybe. Altanak not as good at stabilizing against aggro. It is in some ways even a better beater just because it has trample, but not as good at keeping aggro at bay. Opponent Sanguine Evangelist pings us and pings us. This War Leader's Call is doing some serious work. Well, we're dead. We're a little dead now. Yeah. We don't have a card that we don't have a sweep or anything. There's no way to come back from that. Well, that was brutal. Good news is we do have some good sideboard cards. The Choking Miasmas seem decent. We bring in a Terrace Under, maybe? Trim some of the more expensive removal. I feel like we're always one card. We need one more cut. Yeah, I guess a Bitter Triumph, something like that. All right, on to game number 2 in, I mean, at least we're on the play. We are in the play, although Boros feels like a challenging matchup for our deck. Yeah. We have some removal. We got a Miasma. We have a Valgavoth that we can discard to Bitter Triumph, which could be good. Opponent Frontliner, sure. Well, let's crack us a Fabled Passage. Grab a Forest. All right, another Fabled Passage. Fabled Passage, probably gonna just cash grab, fill the graveyard, dig for lands. The Miasma might be able to steal here. All right, opponent. Well, that's kind of intriguing. This deck needed more artifacts, I think, for Gleeful Demolition. Bat does have lifelink, or do we just need a land? Do we take the Valga? Haywire Might is life gain. Let's just take Haywire Might. Let's play the Forest. Pass the turn. About it, Plains. I mean, so we can kill something here. Although we're kind of incentivized to wait, so we can just choking Miasma everything would be the best. But I think we're gonna kill the Frontliner. Also, we gotta kill the Frontliner twice, kind of, thanks to Unearth, so. Plus, the other thing is, our opponent probably has sweepers on their mind. If we just take that attack and do nothing, I think that kind of telegraphs that we have a sweeper in hand, and that might keep our opponent from playing to the board. If we kill one of these, we only take one. Our opponent's gotta be thinking, I really need to amp the pressure up, right? I need to get bodies on the battlefield. Huh? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Gleeful Demolition off the Unearthed Frontliner. I mean, this worked out pretty well, because now we can just Choking Miasma, get rid of the board. We need a Schwamp. Yeah, sweep the board. Not too bad. We're stabilized at 16 at the moment. If we can find a way to get an Altanak or a Valgavoth down, that would be sweet. Mirix, and a Novice Inspector. Second one, Evangelist. All right, opponent is rebuilt pretty well. Oh, another Velgaboth in hand. All right, show us reanimation, please. Well, say its name in the graveyard. We're going to take the swamp. Oh, let's play the land. I think we got to play Haywire Might to block the Evangelist. Was trying to save it to deal with a case or a War Leader's Call or something, but, well, okay. I mean, I guess we get to deal with the case after all. Opponent. Case. Well, we will sack it. Turns out that it's kind of hard to get 3 Say Its Names in the graveyard very quickly. It just takes a lot of luck, I guess. Oh, another one? Okay, so opponent, no removal, but they're still going to get the Anthem. We go to 12, and wow, okay. I mean, this doesn't fully sweep because of the Evangelist bat, but we do get to reset the board. Opponent gets a 2-1. We have a Bitter Triumph we can use if we have to. Resolute Reinforcements. That's bad news. Man, are we going to sweep twice? Wow! We swept twice and still lost, man. Yeah. Well, good job, Boros. Good job, Boros. Trying to get our opponents to say its name. This hand, a little awkward that we only have black mana, but it's a budget deck. It's gonna happen on occasion. And there's things we can do with just black mana. We can rat into bat. Hopefully find green mana for some cash grabbing. I mean, we also have, well, there goes our green mana and an Altanak. We also have reanimate. Oh, blue. Elusive Otter, eh? Huh. Oh, more swamps. Well, let's play the land. Play the bat to go with the rat. To take a... Ugh, God, that's a lot of burn. Lightning Strike. I mean, I guess we might as well rat him. Unblockable is the Elusive Otter anyway, since it's so too elusive for our rats to block. I mean, we kind of have a zoo going. Just the way Bloomborough intended. Animals everywhere. Opponent down to 19. And there's the Storm Catchmenter. I actually think we just trade. I think our opponent having a reduction on their spells is more powerful than them having a Lightning Strike. I wish we had green mana. And more powerful than them having Lightning Strike here. Well, rat ya. Down to 17. Play the land. And pass the turn. Oh, boy. We could run out Velgaboth Faithful to make them kill it. Let's see if they actually kill it. They have to kill it. They need to time walk themselves and spend this turn killing the Velgaboth Faithful. If they do not do that, we play Altanak. Wow, the greed! The greed. Say its name, opponent. You are going to say its name so many times. Say its name. Say its name. They can't have an answer, right? They have all these burn spells. There's no way they're going to be able to burn down an Altanak. I can't believe they let that happen. I can't believe they... Okay. Ogier. Wow, okay. Sure. Well, there's our green mana. Well, that's... Cachet grab. See if we can, cachet us a Velgaboth Faithful. Wow, this is getting better and better. A Velgaboth Faithful. We might get... Are we gonna get both of them down? Opponent's gonna be saying all the names. We're gonna attack with the rat. They can block with the god, but then we can kill the otter. Our opponent is taking a lot of damage. Opponent blocks. I mean, rebounding Stoke the Flame seems sweet. The problem for our opponent is they're facing down a 9/9 trampler. We will pass the turn. We're not going to run out this Velgaboth Faithful. This one is waiting for next turn to reanimate the Velgaboth. I don't even know if we need it, though. Our opponent might just actually straight up be a little bit dead here. Might just be a little dead. Opponent, the crackling wet.
Out of my way. On a mission.
Gonna make themselves a 1/1. I mean, technically they survive by block it. Ooh. Technically they survive by blocking. The thing is, before they survive by blocking, we are going to Velgaboth, say its name, and we got 9/9s for days. This is turn 5. We got 2 9/9s. Not bad for a budget deck. And opponent blocks, realizes what's happening, and scoops it up. Opponent's deck looks spicy. It's like a very burny version of Otters. I am not sure what we bring in versus this deck. I could see the Choking Miasmas being good. I could see Duresses being good. Both of those seem at least reasonable. Maybe just trim a little bit of expensive stuff. Something like that, maybe. Let's try it like that. On to game Number 2. Wow, say its name, say its name. Well, this could be the one. This could be the dream. I really want the turn 3 Altanak. I really want the turn 3. That's the dream, right? That's the dream. Mountain for our opponent. Aye! Soul Guide Lantern. Well, dreams were made to die. Let's play a Fabled Passage and pass the turn. Yeah, that's gonna make it hard to say its name. Well, now we're just gonna have to kill you. It's on you, opponent. We wanted to be nice and just cheat a 9/9 trampler into play on turn 3. but now, look what you made us do. Look what you made us do to you, otters. Let's say its name. It's supposed to be a Beetlejuice reference, right? It's gotta be. Well, let's grab the Altanak. We could grab a land, but it makes more sense to grab Altanak. Maybe we can get our opponent to spend their Soul Guide Lantern, stopping an Altanak reanimation. And lightning strike to the face, down to 17. Oh, if only we could bait them. How do we bait them into play the Evolving Wilds past the turn? We can Altanak to get back something. Island for our opponent and a Storm Chaser's talent. Gonna make a otter. Why have I never noticed the otter sound effect before? Let's discard the Altanak, get back to Fabled Passage. Are we cracking the Soul Guide Lantern, opponent? No. Okay, we were hoping the answer was yes, but the answer appears to be no. I mean, I imagine if we play Valgavas Faithful and try to reanimate Altanak, let's upkeep crack to thin the deck here. I imagine if we try to crack the Valgavas Faithful, get an Altanak, that would definitely make the Soul Guide. Oh, but there's a Bitter Triumph. Huh. Maybe we just do it. We might just have to bite the bullet. Waste a Valgavas Faithful. Trying to get this Altanak. Our opponent will crack the Soul Guide Lantern. But then we can use Rat, say its name, Bitter Triumph, get Valgavath in the graveyard. Maybe set up to go again. Found it. Stoke the flames to the face. I'm honestly surprised that Stoke has not been better this standard. When it was first in standard, like Con Standard, right? I guess a decade ago now. It is wild that Con Standard, wow. Wait, are we dying? Monstrous Rage. When it was first in standard, it was like a legit staple. And now it is basically unplayed. Found it. 8 damage to the face. We might be dying. We might actually be dying. Actually, yeah, let's say its name. Mill. Okay. There's a Valgavas Faithful. That's actually pretty good. That's actually, like, incredibly good. We just need to not... Actually, do we... I was going to say we just need to not die. We're going to run out the Valgavas Faithful. So we Bitter Triumph, discard the Valgavath. They just draw land, but they get to get spells back from the graveyard. We might still be dead here. Are we still just dead? Do we have to block with the Valgavas Faithful? Because the problem is, so this has 2 power. They're going to get back a Stoke the Flame. We can't block the Elusive Otter, so we have to kill the Elusive Otter. This has Trample, though, thanks to the roll. So if we take 1 by blocking with the Rat and then kill the Otter, we would have 4, and then we just die to Stoke the Flame. Yeah, this hurts. So I guess we have to kill the Elusive Otter. Discard the Valgavath, but now we're gonna have to double block the Otter token, and we lose our Valgavas Faithful, and now we need to draw another reanimation spell. Okay, Deep Cavern Bat's actually not. Oh, hilariously. I mean, I believe we made the right play. I don't think we had any choice but to make that play. But if we had somehow known that we were gonna top deck the Bat. Wow, do they get to do it again? If we had somehow known that we were going to top deck the Bat, we could have not blocked and went to 1 and then just, yeah, taking the Stoke the Flames. Opponent gets a Lightning Strike. Get in with the Bat. Gain a little life. I think we got to hold on to the land for discarding purposes. So they can Lightning Strike the Bat and then Stoke, but then we're still alive. If they draw, I guess if this is a land, Lightning Strike the Bat, Stoke, attack kills us. Eventually they're going to get to start making otters with their enchantments too, which is a concern once that starts happening. Okay. Yeah, that's a good sideboard card against us. Graveyard Heat is a thing that people will play. Goes to combat attacks. Well, we need to discard the land, kill the otter. 6 is actually kind of an awkward spot to be stuck at, because 7 lets us play Altanak, and then I guess the next one is 9. Hardcasting Valgavoth. It is a dream. Not a very realistic dream, but technically. We might as well cast that and see what we can see. I guess we're not just dead to the Stoke the Flame. Cash Grab. Oh, another Say Its Name, but they have all the graveyard hate. Man, we would have actually gotten the Say Its Name if it wasn't for the Soul Guide Lantern earlier. Another bat's actually really good, though. Maybe we will just never allow our opponent to Stoke the Flame. About it. They might need to sack this Soul Guide Lantern to draw a card. Okay, not good at the moment. Well, get it with the bat, hit ya. Down to 18. The duress might be good in the future, because I imagine our opponent's going to be tempted to finish off one of these classes. Are we taking up? All right, Storm Chaser's talent. So now they get to make 1/1s. We got back up to 8, so we're out of the like super duper. We were like that one turn a few turns ago. We were like dead the next turn, so we've gotten out of the super danger zone. Let's duress first, and then that'll let us decide what we want to do with this Cruelty of Gix. So many Soul Guide Lanterns. Well, what do we do? So I guess we start with Tutor, and I'm not sure exactly what we want. Say Its Name would be cool if it wasn't for the graveyard hate. We actually don't have some slam dunk Lumra? Maybe it's Lumra? Lumra we can cast. It does something. Yeah, I think we might have finally found the situation for our one of Lumra. About it. All right, graveyard's down. Well, we can get an Elusive Otter. Oh, lightning strike. Okay. Oh, that's gonna kill us. That's gonna kill us. Now they can stoke us down to 1, and when they cast it, they make another 1/1. So Lumra. Well, we get the Elusive Otter. Do we lose after all this? I mean, this ended up being a very close, interesting game. Opponent stokes. Makes an Otter. Yeah. Oh, we fought and clawed and fought and clawed and fought and clawed. That is the first time I've ever seen the maxed out Storm Chaser's talent be the card to win a game. Usually do not see that leveled up to the 3rd level, so I guess that was kind of cool. Kind of cool, even though we didn't win. Game 3, though, we're going to make him say its name. Our opponent, the name will be said. Yeah, say its name. Altanak, bat, cut down, sure. Well, swamp, go. Elusive Otter. Well, we will cut that down. No reason to be taking early damage here for no reason. Well, there's a Cruelty of Gix. That could be relevant in the future. Or do we bat? Let's cash grab first. We already have Cruelty. I mean, there's a Valgavoth in the graveyard, which I imagine would be pretty good against our opponent. Opponent shocks her face down it. Wow, that's an aggressive shock. Well, play the Swamp. Somehow draw a Valgavoth. So we can pass. I think our best line here is use Altanak as reanimation. If we draw an untapped land, we could just try to Cruelty of Gix and Valgavoth. Let's bat, though. I think batting's safest, just so we know, is there a counter spell? Is there some sort of weird interaction we're not thinking of? Just, okay, Stoke the Flame Monstrous Rage. Why would you keep that hand? Well, I guess they had the Elusive Otter. I guess they were just all in on the Elusive Otter. Well, say its name, opponent. We said we were going to make you say its name after that beatdown in game 2. Yeah, Valgavoth's Faithful seems right here. Well, all right, opponent. Top deck something good, because the monsters are coming. Your nightmares are around the corner. The 9/9s are about to arrive. Opponent cracks the Fabled Passage. Island. Kitsa. I thought Kitsa was going to do more than it has. Kitsa's kind of flopped. Well, Valgavoth's Faithful. I have bad news, opponent. I think you should say its name. Valgavoth. Valgavoth. Can you beat the Mothman? Can you beat the Mothman with your little otters? I would be surprised. Get in, hit ya. I do not know how our opponent's deck realistically gets us off the battlefield. They're in the wrong colors for Wraths. They don't have a bunch of permanents to sack. Learning a lesson about Ward into the Flood Moth. No. Permanents to sacrifice an opponent. In shame. In utter desperation. Scoops it up. Well, all right, we got to say its name. That's good. Actually, it sounds pretty reasonable. Let's see what our opponent's up to. I also got to say, Duskmourn Battlefield, probably the coolest battlefield they've ever made. Well done on that one, Wizards. It's just, it looks cool. Plus you can click on like all the eyes and stuff. It's the most interactable battlefield. Opponent. Oh, no. They're going to take her. Are they going to take her say its name? No. We need her Altanak. Does not take the say its name. Takes the removal. That makes sense. Grab a Schwamp. And, that's a second say its name. Say its name number 2. Oh my god, we milled. It's the dream. Oh my god, it's the dream. It's actually happening. We're gonna do it. Even if they take the say its name, we still do it because it doesn't depend on casting it. We just need them in the graveyard. Can you beat a turn 3 Altanak? Say its name about it. Say its name. Here it comes. Opponent hits us with the bat. Oh no, what will we do? We draw Lumra, sure, whatever. Fable Passage? I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's just say its name. Mill, a couple of Altanaks. Get back a land? Bat? Let's get a land, I think. We do still need more lands. Well, that is 3 in the graveyard. Say its name, and say its name, and say its name, and opponent. Can you be a turn 3, 9 traveling Altanak? We're about to find out. Do we go library? We'll go graveyard. We know we have 2 in the graveyard. Leaving 1 in the library makes sense in case there's some weird exile effect. Let's read out the Valgavas Faithful too, just as a Liliana buffer. Since our opponent might be mono black, they could. Wow, it worked. So opponent's mono black? Discard? They might be discard. Bring in a little bit more enchantment removal, I guess. It's really hard to do too much without knowing more. We killed our opponent so fast with say its name. Such a fast win that we didn't really get to see much of what our opponent's actually doing. Wow. Wait, can we do it twice in a row? Oh my goodness. Can we do it twice in a row? We haven't been able to do this through all of our matches. The turn 3 Altanak. Now we had another double say its name hand. About it. Say its name. Takes the cash grab. Sure, there's a Valgavas Faithful. Well, Fable Passage, go. About it. Gonna play the dual land and a bat. That's actually pretty annoying because that can take a say its name and now it's locked under the bat. Yeah, deep cover bat. Good card. Let's crack the Fable Passage. Snag a swamp. And, well, there's an Altanak. Maybe we just ramp. We can get the Fable Passage back with Altanak. Altanak, I wonder how good this card can be in Standard. Ooh, Innkeeper's Talent. That's kind of an issue. That is a scare. We know that card can be very good in Standard. We have seen that time and time again. Opponent grows the bat. It is like Rampant Growth, right? Rampant Growth with extra steps, and it costs a lot of mana, and we got to get a fetch lane in our graveyard, but turn 2 ramp is not common in Standard. That is not a common thing. Oh, I'm an idiot. Let's get a Tamp Swamp here for no reason, and say its name. We probably weren't going to cast anything anyway, right? Let's get the Fable Passage. And I don't think it's worth running out the Valgavas Faithful. Yeah, we could have played the land first and got an untapped land. But I don't think it actually stopped us from playing anything, thankfully. Opponent level it up the Innkeeper's Talent. And going to grow the bat. Down to 15. Opponent. Mosswood Red Knight draws a card. I mean, it might be time to say its name. Altanak time. Would it be nice if it was the Velvagoth, but Altanak still good. Maybe. Let's grab a swamp. And can we go full Cruelty of Grix here? Yeah, I think we gotta try. Well, getting rid of the Sentinels is good. But our opponent having a Terra Sunder in hand, slightly less good for us, because now they can just kill the Cruelty. Thankfully, we still have the... What we wanted to do is we play the Cruelty, we snipe a creature, we tutor up the Bitter Triumph, use that to pitch the Valgavoth, and then we're off to the races. Sadly, though, now we're just getting batted around and Dread Knighted around. Opponent Dread Knight to join the bat after exiling our Cruelty because takes us down to 11, and we're kind of running out of time. Is it even worth reanimating Altanak? It just dies. We know it just dies to the go for the throw, so we get to draw a card. So it's spend our Valgavas Faithful, draw a card when Altanak dies. Yeah, that and then we get smashed for a ton. So I guess we got to bat first. I guess we bat first. Play the Valgavoth Faithful and hope to draw a Bitter Triumph. We'll take the go for the throw, and then we can discard the Valgavoth. Yeah, I think because this bat is already so big, I hate running out Valgavoth's Faithful without being able to activate it, but I think we have to here. So if we draw exactly Bitter Triumph, we have just enough mana to cast it, discard the Valgavoth, reanimate. Opponent leveling up. Yeah, this bat's getting so big. I guess it doesn't matter what they grow. The Dread Knight has trample too. Opponent, the bat, up to a 6/6, hits us for a ton. Well, down to 2. I guess we couldn't even cast the Bitter Triumph. Well, we could discard the Valgavoth still. Yeah, that was a beatdown. That was a beatdown. I thought we were going to get the double say its name. That opening hand looks so close, but turns out, Untitled Bat Game, pretty tough to beat. Well, now we know what they're doing now. They're Golgari Midrange. We can bring in more answers to Innkeeper's Talent, which was a big problem in that game. I don't know if we want to bring in another Terra Sunder. Yeah, let's just try it like that. On to game number 3. We do get to be on the play, which is nice. I guess this is fine, right? Like, it looks clunky. We again have Valgavoth in hand. I don't know how we always draw Valgavoth. We're very, very good at drawing Valgavoth. We can use Altanak for ramp. And let's Fabled Passage go. We have the cash grabs and such. Opponent, Soul Guide Lantern. That's going to complicate matters. So now I guess we see if we can bait them with Altanak, land reanimation. See if maybe that gets them to crack the Soul Guide Lantern. I guess we do it instant speed. Let's just play the land. Ship the turn. Forest and our old friend Bat. We're going to do this now because I think if our opponent knows what's in our hand, they will know that they can, if they want to, sack the Soul Guide Lantern. All right. Yeah, there's no way our opponent would sack the Soul Guide once they saw our hand. I guess there's probably minimal chance they're going to sack it to get rid of a rampant growth anyway. Opponent going to take the say its name. Wow. We were so close if it wasn't for the Soul Guide Lantern. How do we get around this Soul Guide Lantern? I mean, we can again ramp with another Altanak, and they didn't bite on the first one, though. If they didn't sack the Soul Guide Lantern for the first one, I would be surprised if they did it for the second one. But you never know. This could be our lucky day. About it. Another forest. I mean, we are... Innkeeper's Talent. Okay, that's a good card. Man, this is like almost exactly like last game, the one we lost, except they also have Soul Guide Lantern. Last game, but even harder. Last game on hard mode. Crack the Balving Wilds. Grab a swamp, I guess. Do we do it now? Yeah, let's keep on ramping. I mean, I guess we can play Cruelty and go... Actually, we can't even play... Mistakes may have been made. Yeah, probably, probably would have been better to sack the Fabled Passage and get that back, because this Evolving Wild's going to be tapped next turn, so we can't play Cruelty of Gix anyway. Maybe that's, I mean, it might have worked out fine, actually, because now we can bat in Cash Grab, but yeah, that would have been cleaner. So let's bat, see what our opponent's got in their hand, and then we can Cash Grab at some point if we want to. Vraska in a Mosswood Red Knight. Well, I think we have to take Vraska. That thing can kill us with the Innkeeper's Talent. Opponent. Let's Cash Grab now. We just want our opponent to crack this Soul Guide Lantern. Please? Opponent refuses. Valgavoth's Faithful is almost always the right choice. So what we got to do, this is going to be a multi-step process. So we need to try to reanimate next turn. Opponent's going to fizzle it with Soul Guide Lantern. Then we need to find a way to get this Valgavoth or another Altanak in the graveyard. And then we can try again with Cruelty of Gix. Or vice versa. I guess we could also, we'll see what our opponent does. We could just run out the Cruelty of Gix and start at the beginning to make our opponent discard stuff. Mosswood Red Knight, card draw mode. And is Cruelty of Gixer, which one is better? Opponent, gonna grow the Dread Knight. Well, let's crack the Mouthing Wilds. Grab a forest, take our beads. Yeah, Innkeeper's Talent's very good. I mean, I guess we already knew that, but yeah, down to 16. Opponent goes up to 23. We draw a Schwamp. Cruelty of Gix. And I think we're just going to go full Cruelty of Gix. Let's see what we got in hand. Hopefully not a way to answer it. That always hurts when that happens. Go for the throw in a second. Oh, second Innkeeper's Talent. 2 Innkeeper's Talents, even scarier than 1. Get and hit ya. If they can get them both leveled up, or get 1 fully leveled up, that is a lot of power. So next turn we do get to tutor. So we can tutor for, oh, we need like 2 more turns of setup. Now they max out the Innkeeper's Talent. We don't have just a sweeper we can get. So we drop to 9. We drop to 6 from the Cruelty of Gix. And I'm not sure there's something we can tutor up that just... So we can tutor up a removal spell to kill the bat. That might be our only option. It's too late, I think, to really deal with the Innkeeper's Talent. The creature's already so big. We might still be dead. We'll see. That second Innkeeper's Talent is an issue. Now that the first one is maxed out, it's going to add twice as many counters from each of them. I guess we just need our opponent to not see that they... I don't think there's anything else we can really do here. We need our opponent to just not see that they can kill us. So we're going to kill the bat. We're going to pay the ward. We're going to discard the Valgavoth. Sadly. Soul Guide Lantern just sitting out ruining it. The Soul Guide Lantern really straight up won our opponent the game. If they didn't have Soul Guide Lantern, pretty sure that we win this one. But sideboard, I mean, that is the downside of playing a deck that cares about the graveyard is... this can happen. Sideboard cards very good against you. Say its name. Oh, we could have just high rolled into all of them. I don't even know if it matters. We should be dead here. Grab an Altanak in case we're alive. Pass the turn. We could play the Valgavoth Faithful, but then they can just kill the Valgavoth Faithful and still do the same thing. So the problem is, I believe, if they play the Innkeeper's Talent pre-combat, they just have yeah, opponent, it's on the line. And this is going to grow the Mosswood Dread Knight, big enough to make us die. Yeah, that's an 8/7 trampler, and say its name. Well, can't win them all. Deck was still sweet, though. So what do we learn this week about Say Its Name in Standard on a budget? And overall, we went 3-3 with the deck, which, fine for a budget deck. I think this deck's very interesting. So on one hand, it turned out actually summoning Altanak would Say Its Name not all that easy. We played quite a few games, and we only managed to pull it off 1 time, because you just need all of them at the top of the deck. Even if you have like cash grabs and the rats and other ways to like fill the graveyard, it's just not that easy to get 3 copies of the same card into your graveyard. So it is possible. The good news is, Say Its Name and Altanak are both good cards, even when we don't pull off the janky Say Its Name, put it into play on turn 3 thing. Like, Say Its Name, so good with Valgavoth Faithful and just being able to get it back from the graveyard to loop it. And then Altanak, actually very effective as a ramp spell, just being able to build a rampant growth from our graveyard in Standard. So I was really impressed with how those cards played. Valgavoth also, of course, just like a ridiculously huge bomb, although it's still kind of hit or miss. There are games when we Valgavoth and it's just straight up unbeatable. There's other games where we Valgavoth and our opponent's like, whatever, Children's Edict or Liliana, or just gets it off the battlefield. So it is a little hit or miss, but as far as reanimation targets go, it is a really, really good one. And I think this deck overall, it felt powerful. It just felt a little bit clunky around the edges. Like, the good games are really good. We saw the like turn 3 Altanak scoop them up win, but then there's also games where we just kind of like mill awkwardly and draw a bunch of Valgavoths and it's super clunky. So a little bit inconsistent, but if you like the idea of summoning Altanak by saying its name 3 times, and you're looking for a graveyardy budget deck for Magic Arena, it seems like a pretty sweet option. So anyway, that's Say Its Name. That's been our budget Magic deck for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.